particularly, it was the notion of a union with Christ, and I'm talking about a participatory ontological union.
Okay, very interesting. So
That's
just to interrupt briefly, where's the bifurcation point? Like, where does it go? Where does it go from what you like? You said there's a pivot point at which it moves away and loses touch.
I'm out of time, but I'm out of my head. Shake it up is all that we know. Using the bodies up as we go. I'm waking up to fantasies. The shades all around aren't the colors we used to see. Broken ice still melts in the sun, and times that are broken can often be won again. We're so alone, and so really matters to me. Take a look around. You're out of touch. I'm out of time. But I'm out of my head. Hello, and welcome to Biofields and Brand. Wait, no, we're going to do this first. People need the king. People need it.
People very just king, great king. People error, people king, big, just king. Happy, many down, many jack king from right, just new king, big, great can new, happy. The owls are not what they seem, the owls. People very just king, great king. People error, people king, big, just king. Happy, many down, many jack king from right, just new king, big, great can new, happy. The owls are not what they seem. The owls are not what they seem. The owls, people very just king, great king. People error, people king, big, just king. Happy, many down, many jack king from right, just new king, big, great can new, happy. The owls are not what they seem, the owls.
Immediately, I remembered, because I'm a devotee, a follower of Socrates, I remembered Socrates' daemonium, his divine sign that spoke to him. And all of this was starting to say, something else is going on here that doesn't fall cleanly into the two automatic categories of madness or demonic encounter, where people have, there's a whole continuum of where people have full-blown encounters like this to very, very things where they just have a felt presence of something behind their left shoulder and getting into what I think is going on behind that. And so
happy, the owls are not what they seem, the owls. People very just
Okay, then. Hello and welcome. This is Biofields, and we got why do I have a bubble on? Is it cause channel member Charlie's little corner said bubble? Channel member Metagester said howdy without saying howdy, so he doesn't get one. But Charlie pulled it out. We got Professor Luigi, Green Mannerite, Spetch. Is John Vervecchi a member of the Bahamian Grove? Probably so. Oh. Look, it's a Caleb Cypress and a blue nationalist over there, apparently. Hey, Green. There's Free William out there, and Dispatch and the Brandy and the T.W. Arundel and me. All right. Oh, look at there. Gas money to make it to Southeastuary. Actually, this is probably... you see, the thing of it is, if you look here, carefully here at this website, southeastuary.com, you'll see, what do you see? You'll see that down here at the bottom, it says, lunch is free for VIP guests and attendees who purchase tickets event by tomorrow at noon Eastern. So if you purchase them after tomorrow at noon Eastern, you're going to have to beg your lunch off of me, I guess. So there's that, all that. And then there's savings throws and tabs and just a bunch of stuff. I'm glad you're here. Hope you're feeling virtually not alone. In the corner has been swamped with a
mind control.
Savings throws for mind control. So this is how bad I have failed. Savings
I understand you have respect for serious play. Yes, I have a ritual with my channel where, like reminding fish that they're in water. I remind people that there's a lot of mind control out there, even if you just consider advertising.
So this is how bad I have failed.
I give you a savings throw against the mind control I use against you. So A, I'm using it against you, and if it works, I get more points. And B, you get the chance to resist it. You base your resistance on your choice between your will to survive, your social networks, your accumulated wisdom, or the power of your heart.
Mind control will continue in a moment.
And that moment is now. That's right. You got the instructions. You know what to do. How will you resist the mind control? Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. You think about that and then choose. Oh, look at this. Survivalist. We call this a 15, half damage for you. Socialist, para 816, half damage for you. Lovers of wisdom, Baker's Coven 13, heart folks, tying it up, Baker's Coven 13, and Indigo Kids with a 10. Today we're going to start off with a banger from our good friend Dwayne over at Dry Creek Wrangler Skew. I'm going to help you by give an example on how to avoid that which you cannot change. You can't change it. Okay. Whatever. Nah, I'm not going to go there. All right. So anyhow, be wise. The only environment you have complete control over is this one right here. For those of you just listening, he tapped his heart with the Bible there. The only environment you have complete control over is this one right here.
And for a lot of people, that's the environment that you give the least attention to. That is the environment that you protect the least. That is the environment that you look to the least. That is the environment that you leave open to every pillager, every emotional pillager, every mental pillager, every spiritual pillager that comes through. Your city has.
And the link again for the Ko-fi is at the top.
Mental pillager, every spiritual pillager that comes through. Your city has no wall.
This is how I steer. This is me chasing this net, you know? Yeah. This is how I steer. Yeah. This is me chasing this net, you know? Yeah. This is how I steer. So I'm sorry I'm running a little late. I've been out of touch, and I've been a little wonky ever since Midwestuary, actually. I'm not quite sure where that's going yet. But first, the Juxdeck card of the show is the three of diamonds. And we'll move on next, therefore, to then Saint Sartori of Ontoman fame has finally come out with his Against Paul Kingsnorth video. And I think this is where he actually talks about that part.
But he's got a platform, and he's giving it in this doomerish language of fighting against the machine. And the problem is that he very vaguely defines the machine. He does kind of posit it with Western values, but he really doesn't. I don't know if he does it in the book. I'm not going to buy the book because if I really believed that he was sincere about this message being heard, I think he would give it away for free. But he's making money off of it. And in this economy, being against something is better than being for something, because nobody cares what you're happy about. They just want to know what they're supposed to be afraid of. And selling it, makes it exclusive. You must have. But to me, that says, like, well, it's not that important of a message. It's a luxury message. Anything you have to pay for, any knowledge you have to pay for, is at this
part of the machine.
Did you get that on video? No. Mom, I'm not going to. That's I'll show you later. Look, the gator is obviously.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. We're now at the part where I talk about the biofields in the title of the Biofields and Brand Bouncing, and this Remember Embody. Fancy thumbnail stream. Remember.
This agency. We want.
if you remember the other day, I showed you that uber transhumanist Michael Levin had gone on the Jonathan Pajot show, and what follows is that that Greg Braden, who's like my favorite, worked for the government, full of woo, obvious grifter, went on Joe Rogan, and I connected two of those things together. But here's the blue church card of the show, the 6 of hearts there. Oh wait, we didn't shuffle this one. Then you can have an 8 as well. Wow, I missed shuffle.
When you say that you give, let's say you give certain being, you reprogram their memory. Like what type of memory are you talking about here?
So there's two. Okay, in the experiment you're talking about. So there's a one-headed worm, and we've created a technology that is kind of similar to what the neuroscientists do when they try to scan your brain and guess what you're thinking of. You have this neural decoding kind of thing. So we have a technology whereby we can look at the cells of the planarian and we can see the visually, and we've made videos, like anybody can see these pictures and videos now, the bioelectric pattern that encodes for the collective intelligence the answer to the question, how many heads should I be building? Because all of this stuff, when you're injured, you have decisions to make. What are we going to build? Are we going to build anything? Should we grow? In what direction? There are many decisions to make. And there's a particular pattern that says how many heads we are going to build. And what's important is that it's a homeostatic process, because until that goal is satisfied, the cells are going to work really hard. They're going to keep working like your thermostat. It's going to keep working until the error is within acceptable, bounds. So we see that pattern that says one head, one tail, and we figured out a way to rewrite it. And so we go in and we rewrite it and we say 2 heads. And my ultimate goal, the ultimate goal of the regenerative medicine side of the lab, is to be able to write any pattern you want. So complete.
Well, they found the Higgs boson. And what that implied was that there was a field supporting the boson, and now it's accepted science. They say, oh yeah, there's a field. So, but here's the thing. I was at a conference recently. Here's what the scientists are doing. This is a hoot. They're still saying this. They're saying, oh yeah, there's a field out there that connects everything, and their hands are doing this. The field's not out there. We're the field. Okay. 50 trillion cells in the human body. Every one of those cells has about 100 trillion atoms emerging from the field and collapsing into the field right now. You and I, we're constantly, the atoms in our bodies are emerging and collapsing into that field. We are the field, and that is what makes us so powerful. This is why we can heal our bodies almost instantaneously when we know how to access this part of ourselves, because we...
It's a whisper in your ear, now listen here. Remember, embody, it's all so clear. No hidden strings, no puppeteer. We're by your side, have no fear. I cherish truth. I cherish truth. Remember, embody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you.
Now, of course, Michael Levin isn't technically talking about the Higgs boson field, but he's also not talking about it because it's the boson field, right? Casino deck card of the show, the Queen of Clubs. And speaking of the Queen, I thought this came across my way again, and I found it interesting again. The Fate of a Child by Peter Thiel.
Sort of, again, a Christian bias I have, that it doesn't fully make sense on its own. You need to interpret it through in the light of the new. And so there's a passage in the New Testament. I'm not get I don't have the verse memorized, but it's basically where Christ says one must have faith like a child. Mm-hmm. And then it's again, you can think it's like an abstract thing, but maybe it's again, we should always think more concretely. And the concrete question I would have is there a faith of a child that's being highlighted as especially noteworthy and worthy of emulation? And I think there is, in fact, one child whose faith gets described in the Old Testament, and we never seem to talk about it. And it's Isaac, because as they're going up the mountain, Abraham tells Isaac this fictional story that maybe God will provide something else, and that's what might happen. And then Isaac just believes that. Abraham believes he has to make sacrifice. That's the delusional faith of an adult who's read too much Kierkegaard or something. And Isaac's is the true Christian faith, that God will figure out a way where the sacrifice doesn't need to happen. God is not a violent God. The violence doesn't come from God. He's a loving.
Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room?
I want to cast magic missile. The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet.
I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting magic missile.
Why are you casting magic missile? There's nothing to attack here.
I'm attacking the darkness.
The ghost of Matthew Felty's rockets are in that branding, and he says, the Bible never exhorts us to have the childlike faith, at least not in so many words. Jesus says we must become as little children, and that's why I've begun my research into age reversal. Age reversal. Thanks, Patch. Mark. You can have that +4. You can have that +4, Neil. You caught me soon enough. Cypress deck card of the show is the 8 of diamonds. Diamonds. Let's see. Oh, the next part is a little dark and viewer discretion advised, actually.
There's a lot of whistling past the graveyard going on, for sure.
Whistling past the graveyard. That's a good one.
Yeah. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo.
Everyone's going to see a lot of that, you understand? Now then, see what happened is the great and fabulous Mathieu Pajot made an appearance on a YouTube channel that you're likely never to see, as the YouTube title is El Mapa Secreto de Simbolismo. Los símbolos sagrados y la inversión satánica with Mathieu Pajot. But thanks to his brother highlighting it on Twitter, I found a couple of, here's the part that he highlighted for Twitter, I think.
These are those things, you need to think concretely in order to understand these things. It takes a concrete mind to understand these things. And then once you do, you could do the correct differentiation. I mean, if I would say, it's evil to have the function of adversary. Okay. In wartime, if you're in a war, you're doing the function of adversary against your enemy. So if you're in a war, you are going to embody the spirit of the adversary against your enemies, right? So that includes things like being clever, being shrewd, lying, being deceptive. When you're doing war, you've got to be deceptive, right? War is deception, right? I mean, the spirit of war is the spirit of deception. So if you're in a war, obviously you have to do the spirit of the adversary, which includes lots of characteristics, right? You're against your enemy. So your way of being will be the spirit of the adversary. So you're going to cheat, lie. You're going to lie to your enemy. You're going to be deceitful. You're not going to tell your enemy, I'm going to attack here at 12 p.m. tomorrow morning. You're going to try to make it believe that you're going to attack somewhere else, or that you're not going to attack, and then you're going to attack, right? I mean, that's what you do in war. So it's all about deception. So if someone says that the spirit of the adversary is not useful, or is not in itself something, it means they don't know what they're talking about, because there's this thing called war, and it exists, and it's always been part of our history. And so this spirit is useful. Now, what I usually talk about when I talk about this spirit, the spirit, adversarial spirit, we could call it, I'm usually talking about that spirit within, like not against an enemy, but used against yourself. Okay, so the adversarial spirit against yourself. Now, what does that look like? It can be fallen or not fallen too. It's always the same issue. So what does it look like to have an adversarial spirit against yourself? Well, that might look like something like criticism, self-criticism.
This is what it looks like. This is exactly what it looks like. This is supposed to be about the Kirk thing. Maybe.
Is an example. Repentance. In order to repent, you have to accept the spirit against you. You have to have in you as something that's against yourself. Otherwise, there's no repentance, and there's no changing of your false ideas. So when there's a false ideas, you need to. So what's another example of a spirit of inner adversary is a debate.
Oh, here it is. He's getting to the debate part.
Remember, embody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you. Remember, embody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you.
Randy S. out there says, how do we have the same playlist? I don't watch that much TV. The thing of it is this is the part of the way that the algorithm works to bind us together while keeping us separate, that we can detect as we see each other. You see, because I watch things and you watch things, and we both watch Paul, and it's like, so people that watch Paul like these things. And so the algorithm sort of clusters us. The beauty of the Tolk, yeah. Is that we see together.
I would say a debate is an example of that. A debate or a competition. Why? Because you're not actually at war with something. You see yourself as part of a group, and then you're having a friendly debate. It's friendly. It's not a real war. So that's an example of an inner adversarial spirit, the spirit of debate. It's a good spirit. It's not necessarily bad. And actually, what things that happened recently are examples of, if you understand symbolism, you could see certain things. So if you change a debate into an assassination, that's an example of.
What is it, class? What's an example of? Welcome. We hope you're feeling virtually not alone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
You see, it's something that's found in the Bible many times. It's expressed differently. It's about trying to cause a war, really. When you do that, you're bringing the adversarial spirit that was a good, and you're taking it outside. So now it's war. So now we're enemies. It's a way to become enemies. It's a way to separate people. It's a way to separate something that was once one, make it two, make it real adversaries. So changing a game into a fight is an example. I'm trying to show how you can represent this pattern here. Like in the story of Samson, you could see that pattern that I'm talking about here. There's a wedding. Samson has a wedding with his foreign wife, and then he does a game with the people in the wedding. He kind of does he does some gambling with them. Okay, he does a riddle, and then because of this riddle, it becomes a fight, and then it becomes a war. So the function of Samson was to do that, actually. So Samson is a very mysterious character, but the idea that you can transform the inner adversary into an outer adversary, okay? It's a process. If you want to go to war, that's what you do. You take something that's...
So clearly someone wants to go to war. Now, here's the hot take version from this talk, in case you want to share it around.
It's not a secret, subtle influence trying to subvert you. It's clear what we're doing. We're doing this ritual. Like, let's say you're baptized. It's a ritual. We're not secretly influencing you. We're telling you you're getting baptized. This is a direct form of communication of knowledge. Then you do the ritual, and the ritual in the action of the baptism contains the meaning of death and rebirth and all of that, which is what baptism is about, cleansing of the past and such things. But nobody's trying to fool you, right? Nobody's trying to trick you into accepting this or that. Whereas in the other case that you described, let's say the Olympic thing, that was ridiculous. We know that they're trying to fool, because if you ask them, is this a ritual? Is this and then they say no. And obviously I don't believe that. So it means it's like we have the proof that they're kind of evil, because they're saying they're not doing a ritual when they clearly are, which means they're doing something subversive under subtly without your knowledge. Because if it was with your knowledge, they would say, yes, we're doing a ritual, like they do in a church. In church, they say we're doing a ritual. They don't pretend they're not doing one and then do one. So that's basically the difference between the two. One of them is kind of without your knowledge of it, and the other one is with your knowledge, with your consent, we could say. So we could say the evil aspect of symbolism is kind of comparable to something like rape or something. It's comparable to that, because you're receiving some knowledge, you're receiving some influence, I should say, more than knowledge, the word influence. You're being influenced without knowledge. So it's comparable to something like rape, really. You don't have a consent of being implanted with this idea. It's like a seed that's implanted in you without your consent. That's the definition of rape, I would say. So yeah, they're like rapists of the symbolic universe. That's what I would see them as. So yeah, I think.
Why don't we have a bonus? Chuck's the card of the show, the 10 of spades, which brings us. Now, I know a lot of you aren't on the X, but I braved the whatever's over there, and I found something you should probably see. There's this far-right pastor recommending that we go back to slavery. I found over on the X.
Let's go back to slavery, okay? We're not going to be racist about it, but if you get into debt far enough, you're allowed to sell yourself and or your family for a certain amount of price, whatever. We can have brokers out there, and you can sell yourself for a certain number of years of service to your debtors, which are probably corporations. So we'll probably have corporations owning people. And would that go? Someone might say, well, it's kind of already what happens, because people are all, let's not have a social credit score. Notice what we're using. Credit score. We already have credit scores on people, And if you have gotten yourself in debt, then you can't get yourself further in debt. And one of the important things that happens in America is there are no debtors' prisons. And so that way America is really anti-slavery.
Yeah. Okay, so that was funny. Called him far right. It was a great homeroom. I think he did his homework to do that homeroom. I was thinking though, it'd be really good if churches started leaning toward like a day work program where people could, go mow the old lady's lawn and get a sandwich at the end of the day or something, because I think the unemployment's coming on strong. Yeah, his debtor's prison is the street, baby.
You must eradicate from your essence childish folly. You must eradicate from yourself childish folly. You must abandon childish things.
You must grow up. You must abandon. You must grow up. Grow up. You must grow up. Grow up. You must abandon childish things. You must grow up.
You must grow up.
Grow.
Grow up. You must grow up. Grow up. Grow up.
Grow.
Grow up.
Grow.
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 Grow. Grow. Grow. Grow.
Meanwhile, we're getting now to the delivery on the other half of the title of this Remember Embody thumbnail Biofields and Brand Bouncing stream there with the bouncing of brand. And honestly, it didn't seem like he had planned to do this when his stream started, but in the middle of today's stream, Pfizer agrees with the Trump thing. This happened.
Look, we did it at a different time because we're going to be taking a break soon. The reason I'm taking a break is even just before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I was starting to feel very disillusioned and challenged by this space. A minute ago, I was trying to tell you what it was like to leave Hollywood, and whilst probably if I'd been getting, I don't know, more money or more fame, if it had been continually inflating, I might have remained because I'm an addict. But because it didn't do that, I sort of somehow broke out, was cast out. It matters not. I went back to the UK, got involved in politics. If you've followed me closely, then you'll see that around 2015, I got involved with politics primarily from an anti-establishment position, saying there's no point voting, it doesn't make any difference. Kind of anti-establishment. Then got involved with activism, primarily supporting work.
Yes, and shout out to Under Armour for helping us in our Cover Your Nips, Grandpa movement. That's sort of why I watched this today, actually.
Working class people with their housing rights in a crisis of housing in the United Kingdom. Then I got back into doing YouTube videos, and the YouTube videos started to get very successful, in particular during the pandemic period. Massive views. Go back, have a look at that stuff. We were pretty edgy. We were talking about stuff about vaccines at the time, and now we all know a lot more about vaccines and a lot more about the pandemic. And I'm certainly not claiming to be like some pioneering trailblazer. I was using other people's content, other people's research. I was being influenced by the same people you're probably influenced by. Then Rumble were kind enough to give us an amazing deal all throughout the time where I've been accused of crimes that I'm going to defend in court, and by God's grace, I'll be exonerated or not. That's not in my hands. But now the Lord is so real to me that I can't do anything unless I believe in it anymore. It's changing really, really fast. So I'm going to take some time off and think about what to do next. I feel like, me, my ego will drag me back in front of a camera before too long. You know what I'm like. But I'm going to take this opportunity to cultivate a deeper relationship with God, to reflect on what's happening in this culture, and to see how, what they say is where what you have to offer meets what the world needs. And if I have nothing to offer that the world needs, then that will take care of itself, won't it? I'll just maybe get a little cabin somewhere and be with my beautiful, beautiful children. If
Totally what I do, and I too am feeling the need for a break. I'm still gonna do the rest of the Dante series for the members. Aside from my maybe appearance tomorrow on PVK, I think I'm gonna take the following week off, and then it'll probably be a couple of shows, and then Mideast or Southeastuary. But yeah, the $7,000 cough bill showed up, and I need to take some time and think about some things. But thanks for being here and keeping me virtually not alone, everybody. Be sure to check out Pastor Paul's live stream tomorrow. I might be there.